Start the meeting. We'll call it 5 o'clock. How's that? First thing on the agenda is to review the minutes.
Yeah, I read the one she sent, I have no problems with it.
And what are you talking?
Yep, I read it on email. I think it was fine.
I made one little change there. Under discussion, Mr. Kruger started discussion regarding the what's that, Karen?
Second page, second to last paragraph.
Right.
Oh, the certificate.
Certified cash. Tom brought up, not me, the second part where it says, what was it?
Oh, Mrs. Snell then stated we should split the 600?
Yes. Yeah, she had Kruger said.
Oh, into a separate item. I thought we talked about 3 separate items.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, wells, painting, and meters.
Yeah. But you brought.
Maybe we should just change that to 3 separate. Oh, it's
There's 3 listed.
oh, it's listed. Okay.
It's listed,
Yep, yep, that's
yeah.
fine.
I'll make a motion, we accept them as amended.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. You gotta sign out warrants. Preventative maintenance, $7,500. What do we spend on that? Wait, what was $7,500 on preventative maintenance?
You'd have to look, that's when we went through all of the pumps. I don't think we've gotten a bill from Maya yet either, I gotta email him and.
So is the 7,500 too.
It's probably to. I can see the name of them. It's who we buy our carry water pumps from. I think I bought 2 of them, that was like $5,400. And then we had to replace our chlorine chem feed pump. For some reason the top decided to snap off.
You didn't have another, or you had one in stock,
I
and
had
you had to
one in
replace
stock.
the one that was in stock.
Mandated.
Yeah, malt sales,
Yep, that's it.
that's the pumps.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, well, need the pumps.
Gotta have the carry water, you can't do much.
What is this guy?
Water purification, looks like you
On there today.
That's
want some chemicals.
Pleasant Street.
Yeah, we have that.
The guy on the corner, built the other building, the commercial building. He ran the water line up to his property in the parking lot. I can't think of his name.
You always do that, Hargraves.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay, all right, that's the house that burned. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe they had to retire me out early, buy me out.
There's that.
Water purification, Univar.
So it's either sodium hypochlorite, sodium chloride,
Potassium
or
hydroxide.
potassium hydroxide.
Yep.
Depending upon the amount, I can tell you which one.
Pass that to
So Attorney Gay sent us a bill, something to do with,
Yeah, he's still floating around, he's still trying.
so,
I'll discuss it later on,
Okay.
make a reference to it.
I see the dates here, so this is recent.
Yes.
Mhm.
How's the price on the caustic, has that gone up or down from?
That's probably staying right about the same. That's it. Maybe about 50. $15,000 a fill-up.
Do we have abatements here?
Not today.
Good.
Nope.
They don't listen.
Good, we're not giving anything back, huh?
Thank you.
Shut this thing off. Are you all set?
Yeah.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is Patrick Patrick O'Neill from Tata and Howard. Discuss the projects we got going on.
We brought a box.
Wayne, do we have a?
Oh, we have that one. We used to have one, I don't know where it went.
Oh, we got.
Well, I can, but I don't see the other thing. Oh, maybe it's the blackboard. Can do it there.
We had an aluminum one, where'd that go?
Matter for the camera, or?
Yeah, we did, I'm not sure where it got moved to.
Why don't you make it flat, like, turn it a little bit. We're not gonna be able to read it from here anyway, so. We can't read those words that you got on there, but you can tell us what
Explain.
the issues
That all
are.
right? Right there? Yeah.
That's good.
Is that all right for the camera? Since we're taping it?
So I take it we're starting out with
The model.
the model, yeah.
So the model is fully developed. We have one more set of questions for Wayne. But the biggest part for the model now is we do fire flow tests all over the system to calibrate it, so to make sure the model responds the same as the field test. We have 4 tests that we can't seem to calibrate, and they're all in the south. This fire flow 5, fire flow 6, fire flow 7, and 9. And I know project manager Justine has probably hammered you with a zillion questions about pipes and age and
Yeah, she did, I haven't heard from her in a while, but yeah, I think I responded back to almost all of them.
unfortunately she went out early on maternity leave, so I'm
Oh.
I'm kind of scrambling to catch up here, but so I know we've been checking on, make sure we have the right pipes,
Yeah,
right interconnected pipes. This is a little bit unusual because the model is higher than the field. Usually the model's lower. We just see values and make it match. In this case,
So the model's lower, it's still low.
right, so we're missing, we're not getting enough water to these locations. So one question I had,
But in reality, we are getting enough though, right?
yeah, the field tests are higher than the model, so the model's
right.
a little too conservative, and I can give you an idea of the results.
So we either have bigger pipes, cleaner pipes. I'll tell you, the pipes are clean. There's nothing in them.
Yeah,
If you're playing
we
C
bumped
value,
up all the C values based on your comments and the results, but these still don't match. One question I had, and I don't think we've even asked you, Pleasant Street,
Yeah,
there's a 12 from the north and some 12 down here, but they don't connect.
they don't connect.
No,
The other question we had is Lincoln,
It does.
4-inch,
Yeah.
foreshore.
Yep,
I don't know if she
yeah.
asked you yet, she was gonna ask you to go out and just turn a gate or something.
Yeah, no, but we've actually tapped it too.
we've tapped that, so we know that's a 4. Definitely a 4.
How far off is it?
So number 5, so we tried to do 5% of accuracy. So number 5, the field pressure was 47, the model was 40. 7 PSI. It's not a lot, but it's just a little outside of the 5%.
Are you getting more volume than you expected to?
Yeah, so we put in the actual flow that they ran in the field, and the model will predict the pressure where we want across the system
Yeah.
for that flow. So that's what we're reading here. Number 6, which is the southernmost one,
Where is that? What is the southernmost?
streetwise.
Point to it again.
Forest,
Yeah, that's Forest.
dead end,
Or is
forest.
that, okay, that's down by the camps.
So it's, we had flowed 850, the field residual pressure was 26, the model's saying 16.
How do your statics compare?
We adjusted them, so we use GIS, geocoding, and to get elevations at all the nodes based on the model. So the statics, 65, 66, that's model versus field. 55, 68, that was a little further out.
That's 13 pounds out on static.
Yeah. Uh, 69 and 74 and 49.
Why would the statics be?
They shouldn't be. That's what I'm trying to think. If they're consistently in one direction, it's almost, is there something else going on? Because unless the field tests were wrong, there's not that much data that can be fooled with to make it work.
Elevation is key for static, and we do the best we can to get
Elevation
the
and flow
elevation.
distribution, because if you, these were done during the daytime or at night?
Yeah, they were done during the day.
So if the flow distribution's off, that can help, hurt you with that too, because it's gonna, if you have more real flow than you think you do, it's gonna drop your statics and it's gonna make the residuals off.
Yeah, I think we're pretty careful about tracking what was running, at least.
Right.
And then I think they called in for every test, we get tank levels,
Yeah.
so that for every test, we tried to mirror what's going on in the system at that moment. If there was a high flow and a valve was closed, which would drag the statics down, I don't know, not sure. I didn't get into the statics much, I could ask the modelers, because I can see on their data sheet here, they made some adjustments in the static based on the ground elevation adjustments. And the ones I gave you, the pressures I gave you were the dynamic for the.
We don't have a lot of elevation changes throughout the whole town now, it's not that, what do we got, about
Yeah.
10 feet?
No, there's more than that.
Is it?
All around town.
Yeah, I don't think it's very.
But when they distributed the regular bills, the base demand around the model, wondering if there's something either big going on out there that.
I know that if you go up on Manley Street, and you're not even up in that section, but you could watch the pressure gauges in those buildings go up and down. I don't know if it does
Is it a
down with
dead
the
end?
tank. Well, that's, when we added that tank up on Walnut Street, they may not do it, but years ago, all their gauges used to go like that, because it was such a demand for water up there in the industrial pipe, they seem to take it big gulps, like, then shut down and then take it again.
Are there any large users down in that area, Wayne?
No, Chair Pack might be the only one, and I don't think they
But
use that.
they're not down that end of the system though,
No.
right?
No, see,
No,
that's
that
kind of,
end
that's-
is nothing, no, we're mostly residential.
where he's having the problem seems to be out in the woods.
Well, yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you got the one up in the side here that's got, there's nothing much there. I wonder if that's where your leak is.
That must be Pleasant Street. Okay, right.
Yeah, and then that's going down at Elm. Out at the, it's nothing out the end of the forest.
Have you run into this
No.
before, Patrick? With a model?
Yeah, usually we can get it with C values and.
Usually it's the other way around though, right?
It's the other way around, yeah. It's like we're missing a,
Connection somewhere.
interconnect and then.
How about the, isn't there a connection, old Maple Street that still goes under 24, is that on there?
Yeah, I see that, that was on there, I noticed that.
Yeah, it's in the map.
Is that one right
Yeah.
there? Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's a 6, I think.
Well, it's further down.
It's not very big.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
not old
that-
maple.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
So
it is.
is that really a 12? Is it a 12?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes it is.
Yeah, it is.
That's Old Maple Act?
That's a 12 fed by an 8.
Now, isn't it?
Well, your Old Maple used to go across 24.
Yeah, but that's the one all the way, that's like the last line where
Yeah.
the pen is now.
Oh, right
That's
there?
Old
Right
Maple.
there.
That's Old Maple? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, see, that's old maple.
Yeah.
We used to go through there before they built 24, and the pipe's still under there.
30 feet down? or-
Yeah, it is, at least. If it ever leaks, we're just gonna shut it off on
Close
the
the valve.
inside, that's it. It's history.
So in order to either finish it or leave it, the only thoughts we have is repeat those tests one time. I think Justine might have mentioned to you, it's outside of our scope. We did our 1 day 16 tests. It's something Wayne and his staff could do. We can give you the sheet. I think they went through it the last time. They could fill out the sheets and run the tests for us.
Is there a possibility that was bad field data?
Well, that's the other, that's,
There's always a possibility, but times 4. I don't think they would write a wrong number down, 4 times.
was it the last 4 tests of the day or the first 4? No, I'm not saying because if something happened, I mean, somebody dropped the gauge.
No, we were really careful. Nothing got dropped, nothing. And looking at the spread of the tests, they weren't like back to back to back. They were.
Now, the rest of the town seem to be where it was supposed to be?
Yeah, all these tests up here, the blue ones,
Yep.
all are good. They all match.
They all
Not a lot of-
So the funny thing is, it's the dead-ended wood, all the woods out in.
Everything down on this side.
But you
Yeah.
would think that would test fine, that.
Yeah,
of the system.
that should be predictable.
I think
Right.
that would come up.
Because
right
it's
on.
all dead-ended and it's all residential, there's no real commercial, big draws out there or anything, it doesn't make sense.
Have them look into how much demand, just base demand they put out there and see, maybe the base demand out in that area, they have something in there and it's too high, so it's pulling more water than it should be.
Should be good, because we took your billing records
Yeah.
by address and applied them to each of the nodes. So it's not like we just globally distributed demands.
Yeah.
With the GIS mapping that we're using now that's running the model in the background, it takes the address with the parcels and
Whichever.
splits the lots between this node and this
Yeah.
node, splits the lots and reads his data, the real numbers for annual demand, and splits it between nodes. So that's probably one of the more accurate pieces.
So what do you
If you have a
suggest?
stomach for
What,
some more testing,
Well, we just do what we gotta do. It's not, I don't,
it would take like a morning probably. to
It
run
just
before.
seems way too far off for those to be, like there is something.
Yeah, if they were random, like, one up here and one down here, I would think maybe we messed up. But the fact that they're all down here,
Rick and Wayne, you both looked at this and you don't think there's any connections missing?
no, because
Look
there's
close.
multiple feeds there too. It's not like it's one section that's fed by one thing. It's not, there's multiple feeds there. Because you can be fed from the Hockomock, you can be fed from the center, and you can be fed from Howard Street.
And the pipe sizes all make sense?
Yeah, yep, every time she's asked, yeah. Because they took a copy of our.
that
GIS
one
map.
block here, is that East Center Street right there? Is that, right? Go down.
That's West Center.
Toward you, right there. That one right there, that's East Center Street, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's right by the farmer, right?
yep,
that's a 12-inch.
That's 12-inch AC, and it's 12-inch all the way back to the pumping station here. That runs all the way back.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're getting more water.
the only I suggest is shutting down the pumps this time.
Justine did mention that if you could stand it and then take them out of the equation, and just run it with the tanks on. Um,
Yeah, why don't you
Yeah, we can do
try that? Because I know the businesses had told me that, up there on Manley Street one time, that they were having a hard time passing. And they wanted to know if, you know, for their fire flows, and they wanted to know if our pumps were on or not. So we had tried leaving the, you know, making sure Manley Street was running for them. And, I think it did help at that time, you know, but now we have the tank up there, so we doubled the flow, yeah.
That's probably helping them a lot.
Yeah, they helped a lot, we doubled their flow.
Yeah.
But this was years ago, so the pump's running or not running, and it feeds right into that 12-inch. That's what that 12 inch is there for, to distribute it out to the center of
The
town.
farm, they're not using water for irrigation or anything.
I
No,
wouldn't be
There's no big use
surprised.
there that would.
no, they use.
Because the other thing is, what if-
Their own wells.
Where it's supposed to be going, the water's supposed to be flowing out, up by Pine Hill Cemetery,
No, they have,
Because there's nothing.
right, they draw out of the river.
which is, there's a 12-inch. The cemetery's right here, and the water's supposed to be coming through here through the 12, and then it goes up through, over to the water tank on Springer Street.
To an 8-inch?
Yeah, goes through an 8-inch. If something was closed there, it would shove more water
That way.
back down this way, because it's the only way it can go. It's not gonna go through the 12 to the 8 to the tank, it's gonna go the other way, and it would create more pressure back there.
Yeah, but then your test would be lower than what he's getting, the test, right? If you were
Well, the test would be higher.
If you're
Just when it's
pushing more water just through one direction, you're gonna get less flow.
Well, then the numbers
You
would be off in that
Yeah,
end
it
of
would be
town.
skewed the other side of 106.
That side would be off, right?
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah, you wouldn't get the water up here that you
Yeah.
wanted.
It's just some.
Well, that's all
It's not supposed to be
elevation on
run
that
that
side,
way,
too.
it's supposed to be on the other side.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you suggest?
I would like to give it one more shot. It's up to you to run those 4 tests, if you
And how
want.
much is that gonna cost us?
If we go out within, if we send 2 people last time or 1,
There were two, yeah, you had 2 engineers, yeah.
you probably just send 1 if you have guys.
Yeah, I'll just make sure that whatever day we arrange that I'll have my guys, even though I'm short on manpower. Hint, hint,
Hint. We'll just need, if you can do it,
hint. Yeah,
say one of our people to read one of the hydrants. Then
yeah, I can have my
reads the other.
guys and we'll go up and we can read gauges on either end. There's a couple of them we read both sides.
Oh, okay. So for us, it's a few $100 an hour or something for
What
engineering.
do you guys think about that?
I think for that, it's worth,
Yeah, just double check it, see.
give it another check and see what happens. And would you have to do that overnight, or you think you can? hit
No,
it
we'll
right
do it
when-
during the day, because they're all flushing. We did it during the day last time, and I don't think we really had that many complaints. I think we had 1.
I'm just thinking in terms of shutting off the wells.
I was gonna say, why don't you
Yeah.
try it, on each one, call Kerry and have her, show Kerry how to shut them off. Do one with the pumps on, do one with the pumps off.
Well, as
While
long
you're
as I
doing
make
it.
sure that we fill up during the night coming in, I'll just have somebody come in and make sure that we stay running right up until we start.
But if you do it with the pumps running and the pumps not running, he might see that there is a big difference between pumps running and pumps not, you know? It just may see a pattern of what's going on, and it wouldn't be that hard you got the hydrant already running, already set up. Just do one test, shut off the pump, do another test, then move on to the next hydrant. Take a little more time, but
How we
It's
do
up
it
to
as
you,
far
wherever you
as.
can
I
How
know
stay.
we
you
do
get
it as
more
far as
information.
water, because waste, that's gonna take twice as much.
We're good,
water.
everybody's pretty much cut back on the sprinkler. Well, we're getting so much rain now that most of the people who shut down their sprinkler systems, they've got a good crop of mushrooms already.
What are we pumping a day now?
It's hard to tell because we're still short-handed on wells. I'm still trying to qualify 3B, so I can't really give you a specific. But we're getting a couple of shutdowns a day now, so.
So we're keeping up and then.
Yeah, well, we're past,
So what's that mean, we're down around 700,000 a day?
yeah, I think we're still up around 9.
I would think that's where you should be. You wouldn't be down to 7 yet. That's like
Well,
winter flows.
yeah, but there's a lot of rain, not,
Yeah.
we haven't had, we've
Yeah, going into
had a
October.
lot.
Your average day is 0.665 or something?
Yeah, and we've exceeded this past month, I think we
Don't
took like
forget, we
5
got a lot
inches.
of houses though. We used to run, 7 years ago, we were running at 600,000 for winter flow, so
Right,
I wouldn't be surprised if you're not up to.
There's quite a few more houses in town now.
Yeah. You got a lot more subdivisions, so I wouldn't be surprised. And don't forget, a lot of people still water in the rain because they got them on timers. They don't, the timers don't know it's raining out.
Aggravates. Related question, Crescent at West Street. Did Justine ask you about that to confirm the interconnects?
I think she did.
So that's right here. There's all kinds of pipes in there.
Yeah,
I'm not
there
sure
is.
how they connect. May or may not make a difference, but.
Hopefully not, because you're testing that area all good.
Right next door, yeah, so
No,
maybe
I
we have
think-
it right.
I think that is right. There's a lot of gates in there, I know that.
Yeah, you have,
There's 7 gates in that intersection.
there's a 12. There's a 6. I think that's the 16. And then you have
That
that
would
one
be
on
Blue
the
is
side.
16,
Yeah,
yeah.
on Crescent.
And then it goes 12 going down toward, when it goes on West Street, that's a 12.
Yeah, both ways.
This one, that'd be the 16.
Yeah, and then you've got a 6.
And 6 going that way.
Right? Yeah, you have a 6.
That
Yep,
one?
yeah, that's a 6. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Alright, so that's the 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, where do these, I know the 12 by 12T,
Yeah.
12 connects to the 16,
Yep.
seems obvious.
Yep.
Does the 6 connect to the 16? Does the 6, well, it looks like the 6 connects to the 12 here, for sure.
Yep. Yep.
Are they connected here?
No.
No, that one there goes, that one there goes down the street. That one there's
Going
capped
down,
off there and goes right down the street.
It's live, right, routine
Yeah.
service?
Oh, yeah.
but it comes off the other 6, right? It skips up.
Goes by the 16.
Yeah, this here was the original 6, and all the houses are tied to it. The 12 would go down and feeds the industrial park. There may be a few houses along the way, new houses that got tapped to it, but most of the houses would be on the 6.
And the 6 doesn't connect to the 12 out here, right? Because it's connected there.
It connects, right, it does connect right there.
It does.
Yeah, it ends right there.
Oh, what is this then?
Wait a
What
minute,
ends?
let me look, I'm
What
trying to
ends?
look at,
No, the
I've
12
got to look at
goes,
the pictures
the
the
12
same.
goes out to West Center Street.
The 12 goes, alright, so the 12, here, before I take it on you. So the 12 continues on, and the 6 continues up.
Yep.
Are they connected right here?
No,
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 they
it's
just
passing.
go by one.
it's only connected right, that one, right there.
Yeah, that's a cross tie.
I think we do have that, right? We're good?
Yep.
I think that's the way it is in the model. Couple other questions. 12-inch on Manly up here, goes all the way to the town line?
Yep,
Yep,
yep, that's new.
Okay.
That's now 7 years old.
yeah,
That's all the way from the tank, 12 inches.
Yep,
yep.
Yeah.
yep, it's all brand new.
Where is it? Mobile home. Flagship Drive.
Right. Well, the 2 parks are Friendship, yeah.
Up here. So,
Yeah,
from what we got, There's hydrants in, this is a mobile home park?
Yes, yep.
Is there water mains? Because it's not shown.
It's private. There are water mains in there, but it's private property.
So you're not flushing it, so we don't have to worry
We're
about
gonna flush it at the end of the season, but we don't usually go in there and do much of anything.
Should we include it in the flushing plan?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, we're also gonna go into Beacon this year too.
We're flushing Beacon?
Yeah.
There wouldn't be any private streets or anything in any of that area. On the south side of these
are
center
those
streets.
6 or 8 inch mains, do you know?
Could connect.
Um,
Wouldn't-
Eights, I think.
No.
Those are all
Would have
eights.
been built prior.
I'm not sure on Beacon, they may be
No.
6s.
Beacon might not even be 6, right?
They're at least 6. And they're AC pipe and ductile
He's a
iron.
mix, cause he just came,
I mean,
when he
cast
got his
iron.
new one, he came across, cast iron.
Yeah, he's got both in there.
Cast iron, unlined cast and AC?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're all dead ends, they're not.
Did you say you tapped a new service in there?
Yeah, he's building a new street in behind.
No, you guys gonna look at that when he does it?
Well, he's private. I did see it
Still should be
because,
looking at it.
I did see it.
What's he using for pipe? Echo?
I think he used Blue Brute.
Using sand around it?
Yeah.
Should be all sand up there anyways.
Or mud.
Yeah, he put in a couple of
Make
more
sure
hydrants
he,
too, so.
make sure he backfills with sand around that.
So he calls you whenever he taps it?
Yes, he did.
Should be inspecting it like everything else and make sure it's what you want.
Yeah.
Just for your own benefit, there's a draft report that exists for the model, lacking those reports, but just so you know, it's written up, fire flow tests, the drawings of the model, the nodes, all the input data, elevations, demands. So once we straighten out those couple fire flows, that'll go.
So- So the guys are already out flushing. Any chance we can get some type of flushing program to?
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah, they're gonna
Huh?
like that.
Careful what you ask for. So, the reason the flushing was behind was we were trying to straighten this out.
Yep.
But there's 9 zones, I think 7 are ready to go. Before I get to that, some questions on the flushing plan. So we're using valve and hydrant IDs that you're assigning, I believe?
Yeah, most of them are all signed. She did have a question, but I'm not sure whether Deborah sent her the answer or they never asked back for, because we did, the ones that she noted that didn't have numbers, we did assign numbers to.
Did Justine send you this map? All these blue dots, this is for valve IDs?
All right, I don't know.
Valves
if
without IDs?
I know I got the hydrant ones.
No?
Every one of our valves has a number.
There's only a few hydrants.
No, there are a few that don't, but the hydrants, there's more hydrants that don't. They're limited to under 20.
Yeah, I see, maybe,
How do they know that number?
Maybe
The
9.
Computer gives them to them.
there's a
No.
section right by the tank,
Yeah.
hydrants? Is
That's
that a new
Pearl
one?
Road,
Yes.
right, that's
Pearl
Pearl Road, because it's,
Brand new, or
right. So, but it's easy for us to go in and assign them.
there, and whatever's down across from Manly. Looks like a loop.
Oh,
High school,
that's
something?
Lowe's.
Oh, it's a fire loop. Okay.
Yeah, yep.
So maybe those are private, so they're not gonna
Right.
be in it, you just let us know, I can leave you these maps, that's about it. Maybe one here.
Yeah, because if you still need them, I think she's coming in tomorrow. I can have her generate them and then give them to you.
I'll leave these with you, then.
All right,
If they're not gonna be involved in the flushing, just tell us, we'll cross them out of the,
all right.
take them out of the flushing.
The flush was nothing on.
No, I don't usually go in there, 'cause
You don't flush that one?
no. Because it's a fire loop, I don't want to trigger an alarm
Oh,
zone.
pressure drop might trigger
Yeah.
something,
So, 9 zones divided up like this, and there's a computer model. The same model we use for the hydraulic analysis also develops the flushing plan. You'll love it once you start.
They got
So for each,
Don't do the ones south of East Center Street.
yeah, you can start to the north. This is zone 9 and 8. So if you start with 1, it'll be the last one you get to. So for each zone, this is zone 1, we have an individual map for that zone, so you can zoom in and read numbers and the
Yeah.
like. You go to the zone in the big book,
I can see that getting dropped in probably.
Don't drop that.
And
it'll give you a PDF,
Yeah.
so you can always print. I'll just take a couple of these, so.
Put it on waterproof paper.
This is actually zone 2, and it has a sequence.
What I might do is just generate a spreadsheet, that way they can go out and they know where they reach. 'Cause how many they'll do in a day is how much dirty they are, that limits their time.
Yeah, so with each sequence, and once you go start a zone, try to finish it. It's divided up where it's manageable for a night's work. For each zone,
How many
It
hours
gives
were
you
you
the duration.
considering in a night?
12, 15. See, zone 2 has, let me see.
So this is just hydrant 538.
Yeah, he's got the list of valves to close,
See,
valves to open, if you
Which
have
pipes
to,
are
you're
being
gonna open
flushed
it,
out
how
here?
long to run it.
Yep.
So you're setting yourself up, you close X amount of gates that night and you do this run. And at the end of the night, you open the gates back up,
Yeah,
put the
and you-
system back to normal.
Midway through, you may be opening and closing, but
Right.
there's certain ones to isolate the zone, so you're always getting water, clean water from the last zone you did, bringing it through that
Right.
zone.
Yep.
Be a lot more productive than what we've been doing, huh?
Yep.
It's intimidating, but I know ones that we've done, like
Makes sense.
Halifax, if you know Keith in Halifax.
We had one years ago and went around the tank, because there was only one
Right.
tank in town,
It's
so it
just
was
the-
easy, when you shut
The
off the
danger
pumps,
of
you
being
knew where
in
the
the
water was
road
coming
and
from.
closing a
Yeah.
gate.
But now,
We may
with the
hide-
tank on the other side of town,
You don't know which
it's-
way it's flowing.
you don't know which way it's flowing.
In some cases, the zone might tell you to shut somebody off. Don't run this source, don't run that source, so you're setting up where the water's coming from or not coming from.
Yep.
So duration is the amount of time they should flush.
Theoretically,
To
based
clean.
on,
Just make sure that they, if it's still dirty, that they don't shut it down, and make sure that
comes
they
down with
know.
the visual at the end.
So a minimum of what the duration is here. anyway.
Yeah.
All right, and the orange is the pipe you're cleaning at the time, that gives you the orders.
So how do you figure the duration, by the volume and the pipes we're flushing?
Yeah.
Just the volume?
The
To
rate
flush it once?
and the volume of the pipe, yeah. And on the map, like you said, the blue is the pipe that's already been flushed, the orange is the one that's being flushed for this sequence. And you can take as much data as you want in the field. You'll see it gives a theoretical static pressure, residual pressure. It prescribes a flow to make sure you're getting a high enough velocity, depending on the main. A 16-inch, you don't want to run it 500 gallons a minute, you're not going to get it. You're
Right.
not going to get it clean. So some of the flows are pretty high. Some of them might have 2 hydrants. On the 16-inch, you might have 2 hydrants identified for a flow.
Sometimes when you run those hydrants on the 16-inch, it's scary, the ground's shaking.
Yeah,
It's, you're wondering if the hydrant's gonna stay
you
on.
can get some water out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're static and residual, and you're not having to try to measure that as far as like you do for a fire. flow.
No, it's
You're
just there for
talking about
reference.
All right, and you're figuring they should be getting 1,300, they got 3,000 available.
So how many of these sheets would they have in a night to go out with?
like zone 2 has 37 sequences.
37. So what we wanna do is, don't send these out, make photocopies of them.
Yeah, I
Are we
would,
gonna,
Oh, we
get
can,
a couple of these books anyway?
yes, I forget what we said, but we get it all electronically and 2 or 3 of these books.
Yeah.
Give-
At least
Give
three.
Carrie
Uh,
give Carrie so that she can make copies,
I'm gonna give her a flashlight.
and just let her make copies the day before, and that way the other guys can, you know,
Yeah,
do whatever
I
they
wouldn't
wanna
send
do
out
with them out in the field,
only
but
book. We just make
don't,
copies.
don't let them take that book out there, that thing there'll be destroyed, it costs too much money.
So in the past, Wayne, have you been trying to isolate, or we just been flushing?
We've just been flushing.
We haven't been shutting the gate valves
No,
off, right?
but we've been, you start around the tanks and
We
Just
then,
trying
we
to
used
work
to-
our way out from the tank.
yeah,
We used to do that.
Used to
It did.
not shut gates off, right?
Right, no, we used
Oh,
to shut
yeah.
gates off and everything. But it was much easier, because you could
But you were just
visualize
guessing,
what
you
was
really
going.
didn't know, you
No.
really didn't know.
No. But it worked, because we used to have dirty water complaints all the time, and when we started our flushing program, the dirty water complaints all went away. But when we built that second tank, all of a sudden it was obvious that we didn't have a clue which way the water was flowing anymore, because
Well,
the
the flow
tank,
changed direction in some
Right.
places, so.
Well, you should get more material out of the pipes now anyway, because even if you might have been stocking your dirty water complaints before, you might have been getting a little bit off the surface. You might be starting to pull a lot more if you're getting a decent, better velocity.
right,
So-
Especially isolating
Well,
sections.
well, and then if that takes more of that away, then when you get the water heating up, you might have less trouble with, you know, trying to keep chlorine,
that's the gates and valves.
residual
Valves.
bacteria growing pipes.
I think, yeah.
So
So if more of that, you
the
get
blue
rid of.
ones,
Yeah.
if you don't need them, you can just
Toss
toss them out.
over a water
Take
ball
them out.
on the end,
Yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise,
It's just more of a pain to do it, but long-term, it should
Definitely more
work out better.
productive.
the ones that have done it, like Halifax, did theirs for the first time 2 years ago, and they got a big book, and they were very unhappy when they got it. They used less water using this, and they got it done quicker.
really.
So they were
And better.
pleasant.
It's gotta be better in the end too, it's gotta be a
Yeah.
better flush by.
Now, you're gonna get, the program and everything and download this, so you have it in-house too, right? The model?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later too.
Now, our valves, I'm pretty sure on all of them as far as being operable.
Yeah.
Are we exercising at gates?
Once again, I'll defer to manpower, but we haven't been able to get out. When we did have time, that's when the transmission went on the van. So now that we've got it back, we're getting in a few hydrants before the road season's closing. Then we'll get in some gate turning, hopefully before the cold weather snaps in.
All of ours have been exercised at one
At
time.
one point in time.
Within the
I
last
remember,
5 years, anyway.
yeah.
Maybe.
I think the last
We
time.
did all the
The last
time,
full round we had was
about
when I
8
was
years
here.
ago.
And that was, I had been gone for, I've been gone for 3 years.
Another model question.
Yep.
Number one.
We used to do about 300 gates a year, which we covered the town every 3 years.
The upper end of Matthew, it's AC and cast iron.
Yeah.
Do you know where the split is at all? It's this section up here.
Okay, so where do you wanna know about?
This is allegedly some AC, some cast. It's 6-inch, I believe.
It is Center Street.
The section that's
This
water's
is,
in.
this one right here on Vital Ave, that's cast. And then there's a AC pipe that comes up through the woods from the pump station. Is that a pipe right there?
There's an 8-inch coming down here, and there's a 12-inch.
Yep, that is a 12, that's AC. That 8-inch should be cast iron.
Cross country?
You know, it comes through the woods up the high tension wires. And it comes up and there's a 6, an 8, and a 12 on Sear Street.
12, 8, and 6.
Yeah, there's all three of them on that street. And then going down the street here, I think these are all,
I said, you're mostly worried about what's in Matfield itself.
Yeah.
yep, what's an 8?
So, intersection?
Like Sear Street in Matfield?
Yeah, and there's
Headed
a
kinda
tee
north.
off right here, so there's a
Yeah, there are
12
three right
facing
there.
this way, so if we ever went down, then we
There's
could
transit, cast, and
put that
gas.
12 right to the 8, and you're much better fire protection out there. But right now, it's only being, that section there is fed by a 6.
So it's
So,
going down Sear
cast
down
or
towards
AC?
East Bridgewater.
That's,
Yes, you have
cast.
transit, cast, and cast.
That's cast.
Parallel each
Yeah,
other?
they're all three heading down towards the corner market.
Are they cross-tied?
Back
Some
in Sear
AC.
Street, one of them does.
That's all cast.
Then I think down the corner market they do.
And that's C900.
And what continues past the corner market?
You know, so you have transit and then you have cast again.
But you only have 2, not 3.
We only have 2 at that point.
Never touched the
That's
button.
the bottom.
So where are we asking about?
This section right through here. So that from Sear Street down to the corner store and past to the town line, pretty much.
Where's that, by the town line?
You mean towards Plain?
Opposite.
Yeah, it comes down towards Plain Street, down by the,
Yep.
by East
Oh,
Bridgewater.
That's all
that's
cast.
all cast.
That's all cast.
So now it's,
No AC that way. I believe it's 6 also.
okay. Questions anytime?
They're all dead ends down there too. Everything dead ends. We used to have a cross connection there between us and East Bridgewater. Finally got that one cut off.
That's where we got that hydrant from down there.
Yeah.
Okay, build up.
Nobody knew how it got tied in or.
Take this one out of there. The build-out report, I'm not leaving with you, but I just wanted you to see it. It's in tech review in-house. I'll give you the highlights or lowlights. So we came up with 7,100 acres of undeveloped land. 2,500 of that is wetlands, leaving about 4,500 developable. In the end, of the 7,100, 2,200 or so was industrial, 4,400 residential zoning, and about 400 commercial. So we took the zoning density with what's left. We made a judgment call if a parcel was more than half wetlands, we didn't include it. Figured it may not get built on. Maybe that's a little not conservative, but then the rest of them was
You think that's
zoning
right?
based on area.
The only problem with that is you start looking at what they did like at Pearl Road, where they start going into.
Combined
Combined,
systems.
instead of staying with a separate septic, going into a shared system under Title V, because we don't have that kind of a zoning bylaw for cluster development.
You
So
don't have cluster, but they let
We
you
don't,
use a
or
shared
you
system.
have to under Title V. They have a thing that allows you to, if the town does not have a bylaw, it allows them to do a cluster, as long as they follow certain things like keeping open space in the places that, because the space gets tighter and what can be developed, they're probably gonna be looking more and more.
But a development like that would be limited to a certain amount of acres, anyway. You're not gonna do that with a 2-acre piece.
No, but if it's a larger piece.
A larger piece,
A
definitely.
10-acre piece or something, you could definitely see that. So I guess it kind of depends on, you know, when you said if it's more than 50% wetlands, you know, it's a 2-acre lot or larger type lot might make a difference on that.
Okay.
So what you're talking about, would have to be like, probably like a 10-acre lot, right?
Probably, I don't know how big,
Ballpark.
I don't know about how big Pro Road is. Pro Road is bigger than that by a fair amount. But it's just that it gives them a way to add, and once they do that, as long as they keep the wetland and upland percentages, they can get a lot of houses on there.
Right.
It's not like what they could only put in under the normal sized lots.
Yeah. And 40B, I'm assuming like everyone is under the percentage on 40B, so you never know.
So that's,
Well, that's
that could be a
higher.
curveball,
That's just higher density, so,
way higher density.
yeah. So we ended up with, your population now is about 7,700.
Jeez, is that
I
high?
think it's like 78.
Is it really?
Are we really? I thought we were around 7,100 still.
Yeah, I did too. Wow, we jumped.
We're up around 7,600?
We've been 68 forever. It
No,
seemed.
we're at-
I know we
71.
jumped up to about 71, but we were 68 for years and years.
7698.
Wow.
Really? Do you know that, we're that high?
I knew we were up, not that, that's just,
Maybe that's where all our water's going. A lot more people.
What did you say, Patrick? 7,600?
7698.
yeah.
That's almost 1,000 more than-
Census.
I know I was filling on all my reports 6,800 forever. Forever.
Yeah, 'cause every time someone would move into town, somebody had died.
Yeah.
Is that a requirement?
Stayed the same.
I don't know if we look that up or not. So in the end, we end up, based on the acreage, the zoning,
7168.
7168. And
That
what's
was
that?
2018.
Is that the town report?
Yeah.
7168?
check that I got the 76, it came from census. It was.
Is there a current census?
No, the last one was.
2010, I think.
I think we're still
2010.
running off of, yeah.
2010 was around 7,100, I think.
Yeah, I just went by the
Current-
snip
The 2017 town report.
book. Yeah.
Um,
Maybe there's a typo there?
It's mentioned it a couple times, so. Because we have the census plan. 18,
Is that a projected, like from 2010? Remember they used the 2010 number and projected it out to 2018?
we would have started with 2010. It looks like from 18 forward, it's a projection because it's a dead straight line. Looks like we.
The whole
had
thing looks like a
numbers,
straight,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a little wavy on the side.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. But I'll check on where that started from.
That's 500 people different.
What it ended up being is for the residential lots, 441 additional services. With the census data at 2.6, I think for you, people per household at 65 gallons per capita. That's where we projected the demand based on. So there's 400 residential units that build out, an additional 400. Additional 74 industrial and 31 commercial. Going through the, so we did the residential and per capita, we did the industrial and commercial based on the billing data that we got for the prior year.
So when you say 74 for industrial, what's that mean?
There's 74 lots in
Oh,
the
lots, that's
industrial
lots, okay.
zone
Possible lots.
that are undeveloped and developable. And we backed into the industrial customers on the billing data, got an average usage and applied that to the 74 new. So bottom line, build out, demand, average day 924,000 a
That's
day,
a max build out?
max build out. You're running at 680,
Average?
685.
Yeah, sounds about right.
687 last year.
It was our average
day.
per day?
Average day.
687,000?
687. Last year was quasi-normal rainfall.
So we
That
gotta,
was for 2017?
so for the build out, we gotta
17.
increase, pumping capacity by a third.
There you go.
So you say maximum projected would be 900,000?
924, say, around 1,000.
That would be maximum.
Yeah. So right now, your average day to max day peaking factor is 2. Your max day is like 1.2.
Yeah, well, we've been above that, but yeah, we've run average about 1.2 for a couple of weeks during the peak of the summer here.
Yeah, but you go up to 1.5 million though.
I think we did
but
like 1.5.
If it gets dry in the summertime, we'll do 1.5 million.
Yeah, so
We don't do it for a long time, but
you're gonna get by the average day total,
So the average day
And
is
then-
924, but our maximum peak, that's what we
Could
could
be
design for, right?
twice that,
Right.
like 1.8.
And right now, we're 1 point, well, we've had 1.5 days, right?
Yeah, we had a couple of them.
yeah.
So the peaking factor might be a little more than
More than 2,
2, yeah.
more than 2, yeah. So that,
It's having redundancy so that when we have a failure in the system, that I have something to go to, so that we're not sucking out of the same straw all the time.
well, that's what you
We
gotta
wanna
design
keep
for,
moving
you gotta
around.
design for, you gotta well down
Right.
on your worst day, on your maximum pump day, right? I mean,
It
that-
used to be
That's when they
DEP.
break.
that's what I'm saying, but that's what you wanna design for, I mean,
Right.
that's,
They used to make
DEP
you
doesn't
design,
believe that though.
well, they used to make it design for max day with your largest source offline. They kind of backtrack from that. They're using peak summer usage, so that's May through September with your largest source. So it's a little less critical,
back it down a little bit.
because, yeah, you're not trying to get 1.5 or 1.8 with your largest source down. But you gotta be able to meet your summer demand, which might be down around 1.2.
Yeah, but that's not, when one fails, it always happens, another fails right behind it. I lose 2 sources at the same time.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, it just happens that way. Something glitches in the system and then I'm scrambling. And it happened like 4 times this year.
So when you look at that data, Patrick, what do you see?
I haven't gone into the source analysis. We touched a little bit on this, and that's one of the things that have to be added before we give it to you, is we touched on your permit volumes, and your permit is like 1.5. And that's average day, and you're looking at 900,000 average day. So permit-wise, it's okay, unless DEP cut you,
They haven't reviewed me yet.
but their projections are a lot lower than what they gave you, so I don't know if they planned on cutting you or not, long-term.
I'm sure they will.
Some-
They'll try.
Some did, most of the Cape, they got cut back to the DCR projections, and DCR's projections for you through 2030 was,
0.83.
with the buffer, 0.87 max, 870 through 2030.
870,000 gallons a day average?
Yeah, we're already there.
Well, 687.
Yeah, but I mean, starting to early February, that's when we started pumping 900,000 gallons a day.
We never figured out what that was all about, did we?
No,
Where are we getting the estimated populations in table 1? It's like almost double what you have in the figure for population projections. It's about 12,000 people in 2020.
it's a bustling city here.
And, well, the highest one, the full build out is only like 8,400.
Those came from DCR, I don't know, it doesn't look right for 2020 for sure.
I mean, any of them are so much above
Yeah,
any of these other numbers that seems like something's not.
everything on that table is supposed to come from DCR, but I'll check and make sure there wasn't a... So the thing that's not in here is a comparison to your source capacity, which has to be added based on what I've gone through so far for
And
technical.
that will
So
tell the story.
that's what you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get there in the future, and how much more do you need to get there with whatever redundancy factor you want to put into it?
The other thing that'd be useful as far as how you present it, because one of the other reasons for this is gonna be to say, look, this is what we're anticipating for water, to be able to present it to the town, when we're talking about getting money to do things. Having a chart like the population projections, but project an envelope of the demands. So we're at 2018, but going out to 2020, 2025, 2030, so we have an envelope of, look, this is where we expect it to be, this is where the
Demand.
max,
Yeah.
depending on how fast we get to build up.
In a graph like that.
In
so
a graph like
visually
that, so
you
it's,
see it,
even in a table, it's tough to do that, but if you get it with a graph showing what current right up to 2018 with one line, and then just kicking out that envelope to project, so we can use it for planning out that way, in between where we get to where we need the extra source.
So Patrick, if we had a large 40B project come to town, now that we have all this data, we could see, let's say it's 150 units, we could see exactly how it's gonna affect our system and touch a number to it.
Yeah, typically what we do we run a lot of models for clients, and we retain the model, and they'll call up or send us, okay, here's a new development coming in, 40 lot subdivision, we get the drawings from the developer, we add it to the model, and we run available fire flow based on house elevations, look at the layout, does the water main match your design standards for pipe size, hydrant location, services, and then give them a letter back that,
But we could also say, let's say we have one down the south end of town, and it's being fed by a 6-inch pipe, and it's 150 units, so then we could kind of
Oh,
see
yeah.
how it's gonna affect our system, and
See what we need
maybe
to pay.
Yeah,
we'd have some good data.
upgrades.
we have one being proposed right now, up on the other end of Belmont
Scotland-
Street.
Well, Belmont, but we also got Scotland Street, that's even.
They have both of those in the demand.
And I wanted this done
There
for
was two
Scotland Street.
planning board gave
That's the one they're talking about, Scotland Street and Belmont Street.
Right.
And Belmont Street's only got a 6 cast iron going all the way from here, all the way out to there, and they're gonna, and I don't know if they're gonna have enough water for fire protection with those.
So that's exactly what we do, is we run the model and say, sorry, the residential subdivision typically is 750 gallons a minute minimum. You either have it or you don't, and then if they don't have it, we would recommend, okay, you gotta
Upsize.
replace from here to here, and we do a little sensitivity analysis to see how much main you gotta put in to get.
But now
what
we
they
have,
need.
now we would have solid data
Oh, yeah.
to
so
present to the developer
Exactly.
and require it, where before, like.
Well, that's what
like
that,
when
that's what that map's all about.
When Scotland Street, I've been trying to get this done for since they applied for Scotland Street.
But when they do their engineering, we don't wanna be paying for it, we want them to be paying for it.
Well, that's
So
right. Actually,
you may
Yeah,
have-
but
actually, they were gonna pay for this study and we didn't
Right.
get it done.
But all they have to do is they give us the blueprints, and we send them off to him, and they just pay him to put them on the,
But even if
on
the
model.
mains,
When they put it on the model, we'll have our answer.
even if the mains feeding the project aren't big enough, we can require them to upsize it,
Yeah.
Right.
now that we have this information.
That's exactly what,
And then we'll have an answer like that, it won't be waiting for
We'll
somebody
be
to.
guessing how it's gonna affect our
Right.
system.
we usually give, the developer comes in, we give the
That's why I
town
wanted to
a
own that.
budget,
Right.
okay, it's gonna cost X to review the
Oh, we were
drawings.
gonna, I could've
Run
got
the model.
the developer to pay
The
for it.
developer
He
deposits
wouldn't done the whole
with the
town, he
town.
was just gonna do his little section.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
it.
We build the town, so the town still controls the building.
That was the bad part of that.
So
You get one little section,
change
you
the
little
rules and
piece.
I think he
regulations
had
to
to do the whole
leave
time.
that in
I think it
there.
was, he had to prove how it was gonna
As far as
affect our
having
system,
to
we
get
couldn't
it
get the guy to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is good, this is gonna be a good tool in the
And you
future.
say you're gonna have the model here as well, or that's all just staying with?
No, he's gotta have it too. We're gonna have the
Can
computer.
we all get a copy of that report when it's done?
Yeah, it's another one, it's gotta go through tech review. This one's got my markups in it. I just
You want
wanted,
this one back?
yeah, I need it back, before you find spelling
that's-
mistakes and stuff.
So you know,
Well,
that's 80% spent.
Well, it's pretty much there too, so.
So,
Yes.
we'll get hard copies of that, Patrick? All the
Yes.
commissioners can get a hard copy of that?
Draft first, 4 or 5 copies, whatever you need.
And then a few copies for the office here.
Yeah, the office one's just when we get to the final though, we don't need.
Oh, fine,
Yeah, you don't,
absolutely,
you
no,
don't,
no,
you
no.
don't need too many.
No, we don't even need it until it's the final, really, do we?
Yeah. You wanna take a chance to look through and see what they.
Well, I mean, we'll look at the draft.
Yeah.
Four should be enough. Because there's 3 commissioners and me.
For the draft.
Yeah.
Can we forego drafts of the big book? You don't need to review that. I can give you the front end describes how it should be used. But you need
No, I don't need
all
it.
these babies. Hope not.
What's that, the
That's the flushing program. I don't need a copy of the flushing.
We don't need a copy of that. I
No,
don't,
we don't need that.
We
Yeah,
can give you a draft.
Yeah, and if you send it to me in electronic format, then I'll be all set.
Okay.
I would like to have a copy.
I just wanna see the flushing program go off with the right gates being closed and the right hydrants being open and get it done right.
What else?
How's,
Pump station,
Cedar Street coming?
they're disinfecting this week. If
The
they're
plan
Wednesday.
is Wednesday, we're gonna start up and try to blow the pipes clean, and then chlorinate that night for a Thursday run and sample. And then Friday again sample, so I just let Megan know that if we sample on Thursday, she won't know when she samples on Friday whether she passed for Thursday or not.
No, that's all right, it's back to back, and
Right.
if it fails, then,
Now, I asked her 3 samples, so when I sample a new well or something, I'm required to pull the initial sample on startup and then a 30-minute run sample.
DEP,
Yeah, yes. That's what I've been pulling, that's what I was told to pull.
30-second,
30-minute,
30.
30-minute run. 30 minutes in, pull another sample.
Never done that. But these are these are special samples.
Right.
When
Not
DEP approves
required.
it, they're gonna make you sample again,
Alright, so you're just
unfortunately.
trying to get it to qualify. Yeah, and then I'll go
Right.
through the whole thing again.
Yeah, but you can probably just do one,
Yeah, for the initial rounds.
but you do the end result sample. We just have to give it to you.
Well, it sounds like we're really close.
Yeah,
Up and running.
the drives, run the pumps, they'll do the pump test to confirm the pumps are good for the approved shop drawings. Run all the drives, I asked Megan to check with you about the Kempede side,
Yeah, we're all set, but,
make sure that's okay.
yep, it's all up to DEP code.
And then, Ron's coming down from our office, he'll run through the SCADA interlocks based on, and the other interlocks we have coming off the drives that should be coming back here. Did Mike do
So
stuff
I
down
know
here
he
yet?
did stuff in Station 1, but I never saw him up here. So if you have the weakest link, that's where it's at.
Well,
I see
Ilva's-
stuff reporting, but I know that my chlorine tank is empty and I know my C5 tank is empty, yet I'm showing almost full.
Here?
Yes. The pH looks like it's working.
Well, we want those running right. You know what?
But he
Fake
should also
news.
be reporting, so he's gotta reconfigure this for chlorine too. Because we now have chlorine analyzer in there.
Right, and he's gotta change the, couple of the screens,
Right.
the tank screens,
Yeah,
are supposed to be changed.
yep,
You're supposed to check on the dialer,
yep,
so you get a real live dialer.
right. Now, a lot of systems are able to take home an iPad and look right in on the system. Ideally, that's what I'd like to be able to do.
Everybody can or does. But,
Right, except us.
so you have Comcast into the building or,
Yes, yep,
or broadband?
Yeah.
So you can do a VPN, which is the most secure through them.
right. He
you
talked
can
about he
dial
had
in.
some company that he worked with. But I need to be able to see into it now.
Do you have a laptop that you take home or tablet or?
We have multiple tablets, so I can, and if not, I can just buy another one, and I dedicated iPad so somebody carries it.
And does it have a radio? Is it cellular?
Do we need
iPad?
if we need a cellular one, I'll buy one that's cellular.
Well, if you don't, then you gotta get connected to Wi-Fi somewhere.
Yeah, that's not a problem, so
It could be
Wi-Fi is
here or
pretty
home,
easy.
but
Yep.
in between, you won't be able to use it.
Right,
So,
I might just buy a cellular one and add it to a plan, and
And if you're out in the field, it'll work.
right. Or-
yeah, as long as you get the cells.
As long as you know when you're at the town hall. The cell service over there is.
Most of this town is really bad for cell
Yeah.
service. And it's weird, we've got 2 antennas in town.
Some of the worst spots I have are on 495. I'm driving by, the antenna's like right there, and
Yeah.
the phone goes dead. It's like, what is that? Somebody else's tower?
Yeah, carrier's not on there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh, they're blocking me.
And did you say the VFDs are all set? Everything went?
Well, they haven't run yet, so they'll run them Wednesday.
Okay, but it all did, on that last, the summary of work there from your last invoice was talking about resubmittal stuff on the VFDs.
That's square.
That's
We
all.
Rejected, they came in with the drives that didn't have the added capacity that were supposed to. We
Yeah.
rejected them, they wanted more money, we said no, and they came back with the right VFDs. So they're in, everything's in,
It's all in, it's sitting there, it's just waiting.
so, and we got power, you got the new service up here,
Yeah,
new breaker. Now it's just fire it up, and see how it runs.
Is the fence installed?
no, they're trying, but we have to flatten out the area, so we ordered material so that we can go out there. But it's been a little bit mushy out there.
Very
But
well.
before we let them put up any fence, we'll make sure we mark out our fiber, electric, and everything else.
Yeah, we don't need a post hole going through one of those,
No.
right?
Yeah, I thought we just fixed it.
Yeah.
I think they laid it up with you though, right?
Yeah, they did, and we dropped the
Was
rebar
checked
markers in.
Okay. The only other one quickly is the new source. We're still, I think I gave you the,
Yeah, the turtles, the areas that they really don't want us to, the stressed basins, the unstressed basins, the turtle
Well,
basins.
it's no unstressed, but
Yeah.
less.
so I don't have the report for this one. This is still more in progress. So I think we gave you some of these maps last time where we mapped natural heritage, wetlands, swimmy basins. This is high yield aquifers. And this is soils, sandy gravels versus the moraine or the tills. So we're digesting those down into matrices that rate each parcel. And they're either, huh?
I hope one of them's near no man.
That's like the highest stressed base.
I know.
Is that a typo?
Yes. See that? Green R.
Just didn't know if that was a word I didn't know.
Constraints. So we're merging all of these into what hopefully is a more manageable form as a matrix and rating them based on the potential aquifer yield, sand and gravel, either based on GIS or we have some test well work in that old report for one of the sites. putting them all together, and they were putting in the swimming characteristics. So if it's in a stress basin like some of these, it falls down the list just because it's gonna be tougher to develop. And the end, we'll have 1 or 2 tables with those ratings, and then they'll be merged into maps like this, or multiple ones. Just otherwise they get a little too busy like some of these. And then, so we have town land, plus we're looking at private undeveloped that potentially might, if you choose to go buy property that might have a better matrix look.
We'll at least have the data, so if somebody asks after.
Or if it's coming on the market or whatever,
Yeah,
you'll
we
know
can
that
we'll have the
that's a
justification.
good parcel to go after.
Well, we should be doing some drilling and do some test drilling and see what's out there as soon as you,
Right, if you
as soon
agree
as you
with
come up with a bunch of,
with the
Let's
list,
see what happens.
The best prospects.
If Robury Farm is high on the list, we already bought that for a well site, right?
yeah,
So,
bought and paid for.
yeah,
the next step, if you own the property and it ranks high, then a couple test wells, short pumping test, the initial water quality for DEP, send it in, and start the new source process.
Can you explain the swimming again?
So Swimmy has multiple basins, which these are the numbers. And what goes with each basin is they're rated based on ecological factors, stream flow, stuff like that, and then groundwater withdrawals. So if this basin has more than 75% of the mean August safe yield of just this small area withdrawn, then they draw the line that it's stressed. They give it a number 5.
So basically the stress level of the different zones.
Yeah, they narrowed it down. You have the overall basin, Pond River Basin, statewide, and now they've cut it into these very small basins. So you can have one that's not stressed and one that's stressed side by side, depending on what's pumping out of it here and what's pumping in your neighbors, from your neighbors' wells, in all directions.
So this map here doesn't show the stress level, it just shows the different.
No,
basins.
there's a table that goes with this, so for, say, 24008, there's a sheet that lists, it's a biological category 4, or a groundwater category 5, gives you all the water
I
withdrawals.
think you had some of that here.
Yeah, I brought in one of the basins, as an example, I think, because of one you were in.
I think even Robury Farm kinda.
yeah,
I thought that was actually okay.
Robury was good, Norman Ave was the one that's.
Right.
Oh, was it Norman? I thought even
Norman was the highest stress level.
Norman was a higher stress.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think that'd be the hardest one, but the Robury
I
was,
thought Robury had some issue.
Robury didn't have as much yield as Norman, but it had a lot less
Less
issues.
stress.
But that's another why we don't have the demand build out at the same time, so we
Right, then you
can
can see what
define
you
better
need,
how
what
much
you're
we
looking
really
for.
need.
Yeah. That's excellent.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There you
they'll-
go.
Yeah, there you go. Just how long do you wanna be in sub basins and,
Well, it's all gonna be in the
Just as an
report anyway.
example.
yeah.
Given, those.
Yeah, but
That's
we went through those with you.
2411.
I couldn't remember what the swimming,
Yeah.
I had an idea,
So that'll be summarized in the report, and that's gonna be one of the deciding
but.
factors.
So in the end, it'll be an
matrix.
overall summary of
Yes.
what maximum build-out will be, what we'll ultimately need.
Well, this is a different report than the build-out, but you'll have the build-out number, and then where you're gonna, this will kind of focus you on where you're gonna go next.
Right. And what we're looking for, what we're gonna need, ultimately need.
And a volume.
There's no water quality in that though, right?
Yes, we're looking at water quality.
Oh, you do, okay.
Actually, that's a water quality map. We don't have a lot right now, but we have some for this site, North Elm Street. Iron at .05, manganese .01. At that time, it's pretty good.
So wherever it is, wherever the data was available, you have it, but like the private parcels and stuff, you're not gonna have, there's just
Yeah,
not in there.
there's
Until you
no
test it.
global resource for water quality. We have to depend on either stuff that you've done or the old test wells. But I can almost guarantee you're gonna hit iron and manganese of some level
Around here.
wherever you go, unfortunately.
Now, how many towns around do you know of that have actually done a lot of what we're doing here? It seems like a lot of this stuff we're doing is something I've wanted to see for a long time, especially this part here, but even like the flushing programs, are they even doing a flushing?
Everybody's doing unidirectional flushing.
Everybody?
TEP
Every-
requires.
They're forcing them.
DEP's been pressing it for many years and they're winning now, but they've been pressing for a long time that you have.
So we're one of the last ones to get the flushing program?
Nope. I know we gave Marion a budget. We did Marion's model a few years ago. They asked for a budget for the UDF. They haven't done it yet.
They haven't done it yet?
No, it'll take a sanitary survey and DEP writing it in as a deficiency before they'll do it, to this priority wise. Marion is doing replacement wells, new capacity, more capacity for them. We're doing,
Have they done a build out?
yes, we have a build-out number for them. And they lost 2 wells to perchlorate like 8 years ago. And they didn't want to pay the freight for treatment, so they've been waiting for the perchlorate to go by. If luck is involved at all, they were lucky in that, the 2 wells were, say, here. Right across the street was a ball field where the Marion's wells are in Rochester, which is a complicated factor, but right across the street there was a ball field where the town of Rochester did fireworks for many years. Well, fireworks equals perchlorate 5 years down the
Sure.
line.
Yeah.
So it is going down, because it was so close and kind of cross gradient, so it'll pass. It was up around 4 parts per trillion, limits 2 originally. I think it's under 2 now. Just, how do you tell the public? 2's no good, but 1.9's okay. So do you treat or keep waiting?
Depends on how fast it moves.
Not to say if they start drawing on it too, they can't pull it backwards.
Yeah. We're doing a perchlorate study for Falmouth. They lost a well last summer, a year ago, April, to perchlorate from the fireworks at the Marshall County
No
Fairgrounds.
kidding, from fireworks, huh?
Yeah, and so they got shut down. We're doing a pump test now. They shut it down with just over 2 parts, and it was off for 9-10 months. And we started a low flow pump test with treatment, just to see if it was still there, and if we pumped it slowly, would we get clean water? It's been just the opposite. We started up, we got 12 parts of perchlorate instead of 2. It's down to about 8 right now.
What do they use for treatment to take that out?
It's an ion exchange, it's a special resin.
Really?
Yeah, it's very expensive,
I've
unfortunately.
never heard of that.
So no starting fireworks displays.
Have you heard of
in town.
that from fireworks?
You've got
It's the biggest
Brock and
one.
Bridgewater on either side of us do
It's
them.
the biggest one. Westport High School, they contaminated their own well from fireworks.
It's
They
usually,
had a well
it's
on the
usually,
fire.
fire ranges and stuff like that you hear about.
Some blasting, a
The
lot,
military too.
all the base
Oh, the bases are real bad.
and Falmouth.
Bases are all polluted, but.
All along the Mass Pike, where you see that ledge blasted, well, all the private wells near the
Really?
big,
Uh,
where you have the big ledge blast out the
Yeah.
highways, all the private
And
wells.
that's all from the blasting, huh?
Perchlorate coming from the blasting. A
Wow.
lot of private wells along that corridor. So
What is perchlorate?
it's a component of the explosive. You want the big long
No, I
range?
just,
can't give it to
in
you.
general, but
But
yeah.
it's part of dynamite, it's part of any rocket, other than
So they don't
liquid
make
oxygen.
environmentally friendly explosives?
I don't think so.
Wow.
So this one, we're pressing on, pulling this data into a manageable form, and the report's coming for this one too, so.
Schedule on when these are gonna be.
These should be out next week, in our internal tech review, to build out. The model, I'll wait and do the fire flows.
Yeah.
And we'll print the flushing, we can print what we have for the flushing now, just so he has a copy to run with if you wanna do some of the zones, or
Yeah.
at least consider if you wanna practice with one of them, pick an easy one, see how they like it.
That's good, because we had a bill last meeting, and we're kind of like, all right, we need something here.
Well, you have to start with number one, don't you, because you're gonna be pulling, when you go to
Well-
number two, you wanna be pulling clean water from your one you just.
You can not, but you just have to be more careful. We're doing it, Fairhaven's running theirs for the first time this fall. But they want to start other than zone one, so we just kind of went in and said, okay, if you're not starting with one, if you're gonna start with four, then you have to close this valve, and this valve also, to keep it out of 1, 2, and 3, because you're depending on clean water coming from 1, 2, and 3
Right.
before you get to 4. So it can be done, you just have to take another look.
And then when you do those, you must have to close other valves. too.
Why can't you just start at one?
So, you could restart, but Mass DEP is also pressing for biannual flushing.
Oh, forget that. Let's just get the program going.
We'll get it going.
Let's get the program going first. Forget about, they may want a lot of things. Let's get the first program going. Let's get the system flushed. Forget that. They got enough other things to worry about.
Fine. There's only about probably 2 systems that I know of that flush twice a year. But
Doing good to get flushed once a year.
a lot of them don't even flush the once.
Yeah, a lot of towns don't.
Well, Fairhaven, it's the first time. I've worked in Fairhaven for 32 years. They never flush.
Never flushed?
Never flush.
How many of the valves didn't
They
work
look
when
like
they
Coca-Cola.
They-
start this?
They've been exercising valves since April to get ready. They bought an exerciser. They found at least a half a dozen
And that's Fairhaven?
broken.
Yeah.
And they've never
Well, that-
flushed? And they don't exercise their gates?
These guys will want
Until,
to, when they start closing down gates, they'll want to exercise their gates all the
Yeah, they have
time.
to sign that.
They'll be out there exercising and
Yeah.
they'll be pushing for it because these gates aren't gonna work very easy. They're gonna have pipes and everything else up. We could have sent
Wow.
one man up to close down a gate.
Have you seen
and
other towns do that,
exercising.
Patrick, where they haven't flushed at
Yeah,
all?
but not when they sit.
Some,
They're dead end mains,
And they're
must be
not,
horrible.
they're not fun when you're walking in a circle with 2 guys with pipes on it.
is TV still on?
Yeah.
There are others, I'll try not to drop too many names. Others are just, it's painful, it takes a lot of manpower, like, you have
Well,
400
we
miles
should-
of main,
Yeah.
that's a big endeavor. If you try to do it at night, then how do you run your crews during the day? And then if you do it during the day, if you don't use a unidirectional where you have a better chance of not letting dirty water get out from the area you're working on, then chasing the dirty water, if you're trying to do it during the day, is just brutal on the public and on the
Yeah.
staff, just chasing the dirty water day after day. But
No, it'll be painful when they start, but once they get the hang of going through and following it.
Yep. And they gotta start it, they gotta learn how to do it right from the beginning.
Well, it's good direction, I mean,
Shortcuts.
you know,
No, the thing is, it's easy to follow.
it looks
It's not,
pretty, doesn't it?
yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
It's just happening.
Just don't take any shortcuts, don't let them not close down gates and stuff like that, they gotta do it.
Yeah, it's
what
not
the
gonna be
directions
effective
say.
if you don't do it right.
And make sure they get all the way open when it's done and it's time to open. So
Yeah.
we used to
and
run
the last
that a
step is
lot.
always open these gates.
Yeah.
So that you can either use extra copies of the checklist, okay, go check these, and the guy has to check them off
No.
on the sheet.
They're very
And
important.
if you don't close the right ones, then you run the risk of dirty water getting out from the zone you're working on.
Now, our gate machine knows every gate, right? knows how many turns and everything?
Yeah,
It's all in there, right?
yep. So before they actually turn anything, the day before we turn them, they'd have to keep leapfrogging ahead, exercising the gates that they're gonna operate that night.
You have a machine that knows the gates?
Yeah, it's.
Knows how many turns.
It has it in the software. So it goes out, it records the data, we bring it back in, we download it to the computer, it updates the list, you reload
Knows
it
it's-
again, send it back out again.
Knows like it's an 8-inch gate, how many turns it had last year.
It'll actually
Right,
graph it
right.
for.
Is it on GPS or something? How does it know where it's at? Or-
Well, it knows, it doesn't know where it's at, it knows the gate number.
Oh, you tell it?
Yeah, and then part of the information contained within is where it's at.
So we should, that prevents the problem of having one half open, half closed, or whatever.
Right.
Oh, yeah, they won't have that.
I've kind of tried to burn it into them what.
Wayne
sounds
always
they're listening to.
ran the truck, so he was always the one in
See,
charge,
that's-
so we,
The problem is, who's ever running it needs to pay, you can't be talking, you have to pay attention to it.
right.
It's just, it's a kind of a crappy job, but you can't be shooting the breeze and having the thing hitting the backstop, or you just snap the gate.
Dink.
Oh, so it doesn't stop itself?
It does stop itself, but you don't
You
want.
set the torque.
Yeah, I think you might want, it has.
You set the
But
torque
it should know how
too.
many
Right.
turns and then stop on.
Right, you don't want it hitting the backstop 42
Break it.
times, because it's gonna do what it's told to do.
Right.
You just stop it the first time it hits it.
Oh, it tries to get to the number of turns.
Yeah,
If
well,
it comes
it's-
up short, it'll back up.
Right,
and
well,
try
it
it
keeps
again.
trying until it runs out of torque, then it asks you for a torque increase.
Increase.
Yeah. Well, it said when we
Possibly
first
could
did
go
it.
wrong.
It'll do it about 3 times, it'll go backwards, it'll go forward again, it'll tell you how many turns, how much further it got, then it'll go backwards, it'll
It'll
go
run
forward
down
again.
3 times up to it, and then it backs itself
And
up
then-
3 full turns to clear the debris, and then it runs itself in, and then it asks you for an increase.
It's pretty cool,
Yeah.
it really is.
As long as you don't increase it too much.
Yeah, well, that's where the controller comes in.
Yeah.
He knows, you know, he's supposed to know
Well, in the beginning,
what
when we
size
first
gate,
did
and how
it,
much
we were,
torque it could take.
we were
what's the
high in the
breaking
torques
point.
trying to get them to turn, because they'd never been turned.
So
The
then you really
first
have to-
time we ever looked at the gate
But
operator.
if you think about
we
the
took Donnie's
moment of
out,
angle, when
we
you put a
it
couple
on the
bars
gate,
and
we
a
snapped the
T-wrench,
gate right off. The
you get
first,
some high torques.
first
there,
thing,
trying to
snapped
shut it
the
off.
nut right off of it.
They break them
Don't
one of
tell
those
us
just
we
as
want
well.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, let's check it out sometime. I've never seen one. Usually ones, they're just manual.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this
No,
is,
no, that's
You
coming.
count or, yeah.
no, this is cool. We've had that for years.
Yeah, we actually had it rebuilt once.
We've switched it from one truck to the next truck.
Yeah.
You good?
All right,
Did you
thank
say
you,
I have to sign
Patrick.
something?
Yeah.
No, they do and send it back with you.
Yeah,
You have the bill from last meeting?
no.
Did you pay that?
I,
Oh, these are contractors' payments, so.
yeah,
What, we have to sign these?
yeah, that's
These
just.
are-
These you went through and approved for.
I assuming that's contract.
No,
Oh,
that's their
this is for the
contract.
contract.
Yeah, for the contract.
That's not for
I
the,
got you.
change orders.
Not Taylor and Howard, those, the contract.
No, not this time.
What's the date today?
First,
First. Oh, jeez, right in September.
You put the wrong date on, you have to send them all back.
We'll tell them that.
Contractor won't mind waiting another month for his money.
mhm.
If people don't have to come now, they can watch it on TV.
So you won't get any company anymore?
They don't wanna come see us anymore.
Till we raise the rates.
Or abatements? You good?
Think we're good?
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in and giving the update, because
Yeah.
you were wondering where things were.
I'll come in once a month if it's better for you. It doesn't.
I mean, in a month, we'll have it done, right? We'll have the build out, right?
Yeah, we'll have everything but the last one here with the water.
The model may, depending on when we get the,
Yeah,
The
then
new
we
fire
can schedule
code,
the
but-
fire test.
it's all written other than
I'll
the
just see what
results of
my
this.
manpower thing.
Just gotta double check the field data, right, on that?
Beating that one.
And tweak the model, so.
Yeah.
And I'll track you down for those tests.
Yep,
And Megan's meeting you Wednesday
right.
for the other.
So we won't be doing the test Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, that's for certain. You know I'm out Thursday and Friday, right?
No, I'll just check who's available and then checking you.
Yeah, just have her,
Potential days.
or whoever, check with me and what they're free for, and then,
The engineer that's on maternity leave, you have someone else being assigned to finish that work, or?
Yeah, we have two other, so James, who you might have seen on that letter, James is helping on Sear Street, the model to build out. And then we have Robert Sims is tracking the modeling group, because Justine, who went out, was coordinating a lot of the modeling staff. So Robert Sims is kind of checking in with those. Most of them work individually for a different manager, but since the modeling is kind of specialized, we just have somebody keep track of it. That group has what they need and stuff's getting out, so. And we're pretty much wrapping these up.
Yeah, at that point, sometimes is when you need to have it being watched a little
Well-
closer to make sure it gets done.
Whipping them just because if they sit around and don't get done, and we will have it for them.
Do I need to sign those two, or those all set? Just need
So
to.
it just
Just
needs
need
to.
to. Well, thank you very much for coming in and updating us.
My pleasure. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
All good stuff.
Progress.
Good information.
Will I get 2 copies?
Wayne, you got, four log certificate from Henley Street?
alright, so we did have a 4-log certificate from George Allen, and Mass DEP rejected it. It
Why?
did not have any of the calculations it required, it didn't have a stamp. So they pushed for
It
that.
was approved by DEP.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, it never was submitted to them. So during this last sanitary survey, I mentioned to Jillian that I had it. So I did submit it and it was promptly rejected.
So what are we gonna do?
So if you want to do it,
We have to do it.
Well, you're not required to do it yet.
Huh?
No,
No,
not
but
required.
if you get a bacteria,
If we take an E. coli hit, then you probably would be required.
even on the raw water, even after the treatment, even if the water is treated and it's fine when it goes
If
out,
it's in the raw water, you
if
still.
it's in the raw water, you're in trouble. We gotta do it. That's why I did it years ago. I told George I wanted it all.
Well, you
Do
should
you
have.
think you need it? I mean, without
Yeah.
adding pipe or doing any
Yeah,
other
because-
So it requires chlorination to 99.99%, right?
For years, we had trouble with that.
And it's mainly the contact time.
Right.
because we had to maintain it at zero, the raw water.
At
Yeah.
what chlorine level though?
Well, you either gotta drive up the chlorine with a shorter time, T, or longer time, lower chlorine. So it depends on what you,
So
this is
I-
Manley Street,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so when you come out of the plant, you don't have a clear well. You're
So we're coming out of the plant at .01 for residual.
And where's your first customer?
He's not too far away.
So,
He's probably
you don't have a
200
clear
feet.
well, right? You're going
No, it goes
wells,
straight out.
the pressure filters,
Yep.
post chlorination. I mean, we can run the numbers, but it sounds like you typically need quite a bit of pipe, unless you want to run 2 parts of chlorine. between that injection point and your first customer.
So what would you, milligrams per liter, what would our typical, we might go as high as 0.4 in the summertime, and it's pretty much being eaten up as it leaves us.
Well, I prefer to keep it low, as long as you can get your trace on the outskirts and the tanks to protect yourself. Because the more you put in, then you're just driving your
Right, you're gonna
DVPs
get,
up.
right,
Then you're gonna get your chlorine byproducts.
Right.
And you're just,
Then
yeah.
you,
now you're fighting a different battle.
right, so,
But it requires
It's
an
a balancing
engineering
act.
firm to do the calculations and the stamps, and then submit them.
Yeah, let's get it done and let's have it.
So at another meeting, well, actually, it didn't say vote, so I'm not sure you can actually take a vote too, but you'd have to fund that. So,
I mean,
and-
ask them
much would
how much it would cost.
budget? Or-
How much would that cost, Patrick, to do something like that?
It's not much. You have drawings of everything, right?
yes, I can,
Pipes?
yeah, we have good GIS drawings of where everything is and how far it is from us to the first customer.
It can't be more than $1,000 or something. It's just their
Just get it
forms.
done. What do you
the
say?
calcs or,
We're gonna have to.
Just get it done. We need to have it.
I could firm up a number, but it can't be a lot. I can't remember the last time. I
Well,
did.
look at it.
If you can give us a number, we can have a number to vote on at the next.
And just mainly, you're not trying to get it anywhere else?
So remember, you have 3 other stations after that.
I know, but this one here is the one we got the problem with, and it's always been a problem. We don't have problems at the other stations, so this one is the critical
We've
one.
taken it at Norman Ave too.
Huh?
We have taken hits at Norman Ave's Raw.
Well, you're gonna be cleaning that one, we're gonna be doing some other stuff over there, so we'll look at that one. Let's get this one here, I know this one is a problem and always has been. Ever
Right.
since we built that iron removal plant, and I thought we were covered, so we just need to make sure that we have it.
I mean, the most ideal ones are like wells out in the woods.
I know, they
So you get this
have lots
big
of
long
contact
pipeline,
time.
you
yeah.
can carry a low residual because you have so much contact time for the first customer. But if it's, close to town and you have customers 500 feet away,
Right.
Yeah.
you need like huge pipes, just to provide the contact time. Or you do a serpentine in
Or a static mixer.
Avon. We just did one of their wells.
Yeah.
And we just had to do a serpentine. The discharge from the well went out, picked up the chlorine at the chem feed, came back to the well, and went back out. One
So
more
what
time.
was the C values on that mess?
12 inch.
Yeah,
We didn't have to change the pump,
right,
but they got the CT out of it, and it could keep it all on the property,
right.
which is difficult sometimes if you have to leave the
Shut off
plant.
the valve to the first customer and make it backfeed.
Send it down and come back in.
I think that a lot of that problem in that well is the iron,
It's,
the iron content.
right.
That's where the bacteria is coming from.
Oh,
That
iron
thing is
bacteria?
full of
Yeah,
manganese.
it's really
That's-
high in iron, maybe.
Yeah. And the next highest one would be Norman Avenue, so that's probably why you got a little bit of
That's why
problem
we-
over there. Manley Street is definitely a problem, so we need to do that.
Okay. I'll get your budget
All right.
and get it back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go from there.
And maybe we'll
Thank you. Get a
discuss
volume
it.
discount, you do Manly and Norman Ave at the same time.
Sure. 2 for 1.
Put that in the minutes.
Set?
Yep,
All
thank you.
set.
Have a good night.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Patrick.
Nice to see you again.
Okay,
Must be up.
so we're gonna bring that up next meeting.
Yep,
We're gonna put that on the agenda. GPS locating equipment.
all right, so we're running into where it might be better for us to have a piece of equipment. I kinda looked into it and I came back with a higher cost. Deborah actually worked down in the Cape with the consortium, I forget, it's a long name.
Pleasant Bay.
Yeah, something, and she did use their equipment, so they're purchasing 3 new pieces of equipment, sub-meter accuracy. They think they can get better, a lot of it is in the software to, pull it all together at the end, somewhere around 5 or under for a piece of equipment to do it. My idea is, I asked her if we could when they get it, if we could get down and borrow a piece, bring it back here, do a couple of locations around town, see how it matches up to our map, then give it back to them, and then I'd review it with you to see how it did. I mean, if you look at the pole guys going around, if you see that big ball in the back of his backpack, that's what he's doing. He's GIS locating all of those poles as he snaps pictures with his iPad. So that would be my thought there, but I can't do anything until I do the testing and I come back with you with the cost. There's no good in getting something that isn't gonna be accurate.
Well, if they'll let you borrow it for,
Right.
to test it, that's,
Yeah, and I think
It's a
she said
no-brainer.
that she didn't feel that would be a problem. She's worked with them before.
Okay.
The water gem software, we have the funding, I'm ready to buy it. I don't have the time, I can't sit there for more than 45 minutes at a time without being disturbed. It also requires manipulation. If you heard Patrick, he talked about, it uses the GIS files in it when it's working as you're setting it up. My idea would be once again to shove that off towards Deborah. She can sit there undisturbed.
Okay, but what I'm looking
She would
at,
have to cross-train me.
okay, but what I'm looking at is to get it in-house, because if we switch engineers again,
Right.
all this work and all this money that we just spent on the modeling
Yep.
is in his office.
Right.
And if he isn't our engineer anymore, we don't have anything, we're
Right,
starting
that
all
was the
over.
purpose of
So I
buying it.
wanna have it here, so that if we get another engineering firm, we can say to them,
Right.
we got it right here, take a copy of it and go to work.
Yep.
And we've already got it bought and paid for. I'm not looking for you to actually run the model. I wanna have it sitting here so West Bridgewater owns it.
I could download it
He's gonna-
tomorrow, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna know
Because-
how to turn it on.
Part of his contract is a digital copy, right?
Right. We stipulated that all along. The only thing that, if you listen to him closely, he talked about when they do the things for the firms, they keep that in-house.
well, the reason they do that though is they maintain the model, because usually when
Right.
towns, they, like you just said, you're too busy, people come in, you don't have the time to do it.
Yep.
I just wanna
So you
keep this
have
one
them.
updated, so we don't have to
Yeah.
pay another engineering firm to do what we already paid him to do.
Right.
Just, we could go through him, and let him, we're paying him, let him download it on ours and we have it. And then if we have a switch again, we've got everything right here. We're not backtracking and spending money all over again. Because Dufresne Henry and Stantec, they have a lot of our stuff that, we don't have access to
So
it.
what do you need Deborah to do? You think just as far as getting it set up and checked out and making sure
She
everything's
can,
working on?
at this point, if all you want is the software to sit there and reside there, I could probably just download it, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna have the wherewithal to mess with it. I just don't really have the time with
They
this.
don't always work when you just download. I mean, it'd be, she's here anyway.
Right.
Yep,
It'd be worth it to have her at least look into it, make sure it's working, figure out, even if just a few things like how to check a fire flow at an
Right.
intersection.
They're getting
and
they're
cross-training
close to
with that.
handing it off at this point, so that's why.
Yeah.
did you
Meant
say
to bring it
that
up last
she's
week.
getting a full-time job somewhere or something?
I don't know, she has applied, but luckily,
For us.
yeah, for us, not for her. She's still here.
Because I'd like to see the town get, more permanent funding to have somebody that can keep the
Well, we need somebody to
GIS
keep the
system
map
up.
up, but
because the center of town hasn't even been drawn in yet. And Walsh's, I know, when they finished that project, they told me they had all,
no, I have the drawings.
you
I
have?
have them.
It's just. not-
Yes, I got them from you, actually.
As-built?
Yeah,
So why isn't somebody put them on the map?
because it's not my map, so I can't touch this
No, I know,
layer.
but,
I don't know why he hasn't.
so the Board of Assessors, that's their responsibility.
Right.
They're in charge of keeping the map up. How come they haven't kept the map up?
I don't know. They haven't put the high school on either. I have drawings for that too, which I've got from you. If you,
We can't put the water mains on?
We can put the
because it's
water in,
not
but if
here.
the streets aren't there, it doesn't.
Oh,
The streets aren't, the islands and everything all changed in the center of town, and they're all where they were. If you look at the GIS, everything's the old drawing.
Yeah, with the high school, you should be able to do.
and so it's up
It's
to the
not
assessors to
there.
update that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
because
can't
everything
touch,
begins
we
with
can't
their
touch the
layout.
property lines. It's not,
That's the high school.
they used to hire
And
an
it's still
engineer
the old
to
one,
do
so
that.
there's no way for you to go in and put
Right,
whatever it is
so I
now,
can't do
because they've
anything.
changed all of it, yeah.
Well, we need it, we should send them a.
That's what
letter
it's
saying they can do
supposed to
it.
look like. So somebody has to force them to do their part of it. They're not doing their part of it.
Well, they're gonna be updated, they just did a flyover, right?
No, I have the flyover, I have to give it to them. That doesn't mean that's not part of that. They have to draw it on the basis, so everything is like pieces of plexiglass stacked on top of each other.
Now, is that old high school right now, is that old high school?
It's still drawn in.
No, I know, it's not labeled as a tear down?
No.
Because every time a house got torn down, I had it labeled as a tear down.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I can put it on a tear down layer, but there's nothing there then because he hasn't done his part of it.
But now, with the picture there, can you go in?
I can
and
trace
lay
it,
the-
I
yeah,
have,
you
but,
could put it in if you,
but each
Yeah.
time then that I update from
I used
anybody,
to do the
then I
tear
have to
downs.
keep it on a separate layer and keep carrying it forward when it should be fixed at the base layer.
I used to label the tear downs, if there was a house torn down, I used to label it and put it on the layer that was tear down.
It's like the,
If you look out here on Matfield Street, there was a couple of them that were torn
Yeah.
down, and they're,
even in the center, this affects everybody, it's the drainage, it's everything. You can still see the lines from the old islands, it's still drawn the way it was, not the way it is supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be, that's what it is.
right.
That means I don't know how he's assessing those properties, because they all lost property, all the driveways, everything kicked back. How do you assess something if you're not correcting the property lines?
Just charge a little extra. So how often does assessors update?
I don't
It's
know.
supposed to be continuous, it's supposed to be all year round.
Every year?
It's supposed to, huh?
but they've got to be.
Well, they're supposed to do it at least once, twice a year.
They're supposed to bring in, they're supposed to be bringing them in like quarterly, you know, they're supposed to give every few months, they give them a bunch of changes. They give an engineering firm the change.
That's been
We
there
have a
for years
full-time
now.
assessor.
We do.
But he,
But I need a letter from you
He's not-
guys
he's not
to
doing it.
say what's going on.
he's not doing it, and nobody else can work with their layers because he hasn't got the base layer.
I can change it, but it wouldn't change on his, so the
No,
next
I
time
know.
I update it from him, it would wipe my change
Maybe you
out.
can go see him, Wayne, and see what his plan is to get it updated?
That would still wipe your change out that you made.
Well, I put it on a separate layer, so you'd have to keep, so then I'd have to go in and keep editing his as it came across and.
All right.
Can you go see him, Wayne, and see what his, tell him what our problem is and see what his solution
I
is?
can ask him if he's plans on updating it anytime
Yeah,
soon.
Maybe
Just
there's a
say,
plan.
just say you'd like a schedule for when it's being updated, so you know when you can.
Tell him the board wants to know what his plan is,
All right,
all right? Just tell him, put it on us. Tell him the board wants to know what's going on. And if he doesn't have an answer, let's go see the selectmen and see if they have a plan. We gotta have the map. Okay, what's next? CCR.
all right, so along with the many rules that the DEP passes, they passed a new one with funding for something, but it also affected the consumer confidence report, that they want it to be more easily read, which I think ours passes the test already, but they're gonna force us to publish it twice a year.
Huh?
Yep,
Really?
yes.
And how much we spending now once a year?
I don't know off the top of my head. That's
I blindsided.
It's
Chief didn't know.
expensive.
Yes, it's not cheap because we send it out to print it. I mean, we do a lot of the stuff in-house ourselves, but we still have the printing and the
Twice
mailing.
a year?
Yeah, so if
No.
that law
And why
passes,
would we be doing it twice a year when it's an annual report?
it's gonna become a biannual report now.
So every 6 months, you're just gonna give a 6-month report?
Yes,
It's the same report,
it's the same report, it's just 6 months.
twice a year.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. That's just a waste of cash. Jeez, with all these things that we have to really take care of, we're gonna just blow money out the window.
And it has to be done hard copy and mailed out.
Oh, yeah.
You can't, it's
Yes,
not like,
it
it's
is. No.
not like you can go to electronic or
Yeah.
something and.
That's already passed, Wayne?
That passed,
When?
not too long ago. It passed with a round of funding. I think they're giving more loans out. So along with that.
So they're gonna lend us money so we can pay the money
We can
back?
borrow almost any amount of money you want, as long as you wanna pay for the money. Not giving out anything free.
Right. Who comes up with this stuff? Okay. Old business. Manpower.
I think we
Now you
skipped.
skip
Yeah. Now you skip, so
Oh, we put
the
scripts
free
on.
cash movement, so you talked about that last time, so I made sure it was on the agenda this time.
Yeah, I wanna look at those figures I told you today
Um,
before we go voting on anything. I wanna know where that money came from.
All right,
I wanna know,
so you wanna
I wanna
postpone
know
it for
more
another
about,
meeting?
we don't have enough information on that one. So, manpower. And
Well,
that
that
budget,
hasn't changed
and
then.
that free cash thing, we don't have to do anything on that till January.
Right,
That's budget time.
that would be budget.
Yeah, so we're not running into that. A lot of other things can happen between now and then. Manpower discussion.
So our needs still haven't changed. During the summer, we're becoming really busy to effectively operate and get the work done that we need. We're an operating utility that runs 24/7, 365, and a lot of times, even though we plan and take really good care of our equipment and maintain it well, it's still in a crisis mode because when it goes, it's a crisis to us. There's really never a normal day of work, so you can plan something, but the best laid plans go to waste when you don't have enough people to do it. So most of our construction is occurring on either end. We get it done in the beginning of the summer, or right now we're trying to get it done now towards the end of the summer before the season closes out. We're not gonna get to paint any hydrants this year because the weather's just closing out on us. We'll try again next year. We have all the materials, we just don't have the people to get that done. We're gonna exercise the gates. Obviously, we're gonna get some of them exercised if they're gonna go out in unidirectional flush. So we'll get in a few of them. We'll stop construction early and we'll just go to that. We can pick up replacing hydrants in the spring. Yeah.
What hydrants are you replacing now?
We get into a lot of the we still have a lot of Rensselaers that are really extremely hard to turn, and we've got a lot of 1902s 2-years in the
You
system.
know, they're on 4-inch water mains. They're not gonna put out a fire anyways.
Right.
No, stop replacing them. That's just a waste of money. There's usually, on every street where there's a 4-inch, there's a 12-inch on the other side of the street. They'll never use it. They'll never use the 4. That's just a waste of time.
So North Elm Street had the most amount of 2-years.
Okay, but who does? Which one?
North Elm had a lot of 2-years because it was original back to Brockton when he
Right.
was tied in.
But a lot of those already been
What do you mean by
replaced.
2 years?
They're just 2-year
They
hydrants.
don't have a steamer. The
There's no
front,
steam.
the front big one.
Oh, right,
But
right.
then what, on the other side of the street,
But
you have
it's
regular.
not gonna do anything to have a
That's
steamer.
all
When
they
you
have.
feed them with a 4-inch
Yeah.
water main, you can't fill the steamer anyways. Until you get a big water main up there, you don't need a steamer.
All right, Manley Street, that hasn't changed. I'm hoping during the winter months, maybe we'll rent a piece of equipment and we'll go in and try to tear down the center aisle and lower that down so we can get in and more better access to the rest of the lagoons.
Slope that down more
Yeah.
gradual.
But we'll try to take down a good section of it so that we can go in and go down and.
You can always
we can
leave
reach
it
up.
that way, I would think, when you're done.
Yeah, I don't know what the idea was for that to be up that high. If the one lagoon floods out, it's just gonna go around the back and
Right.
come around the other side anyway, so it's,
So while you're doing it, make it really good and accessible for the next time.
right, and that's the plan.
What are you gonna dig down?
The center island and the Manley Street lagoons,
Between the two lagoons, anything,
between the two
Anything
center
down in there
lagoons,
work.
you have that island that goes out.
Yeah.
Remove that down so that.
So we can load a truck.
So you drive down and now we can load a truck out of the back lagoon, the sediment, or if we have to reach into
How
the other
how you
lagoons.
gonna support the wall when you dig it down?
Support what well?
The wall. If you're digging it down and you've got that stonework and you got
We're gonna,
that rubber coming up there, what's gonna keep
oh, yeah, way
that?
above the rubber. It's way
yeah,
above the
we're
rubber.
above the felt pads. We're just gonna be in the rip wraps part of it. We're not going down into the water line or anywhere close to it. Just close enough so that I can get a truck out there so that I can load it up from the back end. Or if we have to reach out into the lagoons again,
There's a
we're gonna
big
stay on
level-
top of them.
Barrier between the two of them going out, and then it gets steep going down the riprap. So he was gonna take some of that level section, cut it down, so we can back the truck down and load it with an excavator.
Oh,
It's really not doing
the
it.
back lagoon, the
Back,
drainage
to get
lagoon.
to the back lagoon.
Okay.
Yeah, it shouldn't be close to any of the barrier or anything.
No, it's
No.
way above it.
Plus, we still have some of that fabric here, so even if so, we can still put more fabric back under the riprap when we're done and go
I
right
don't even think
across.
it'll get into the riprap too bad. The riprap go all the way to the top?
It goes all the way to the
It
top.
did? I don't know what it's doing, the water would never get up that.
No, it's not, it has been up that high, but only when, that's another thing. I have to figure out who owns the code to the Manley Street plant. We've now had 4 instances where the plant shut down in the middle of a backwash. Well, you're backwashing at 900 gallons a minute. The valves operate off of water pressure, so if the pumps aren't running, they can't manipulate the valves to cycle to the next position. So they have a tendency to hang up. I can tell you that the lagoons in total hold about 1 million gallons of water. So I have to figure out whether Mike can manipulate the code. It needs a line of code that says if plant and backwash, when plant call for shutdown, ignore or
Shut down, yeah.
stay running for an extra 20, till backwash completes plus 25. So you clear the water. But that's just things that have occurred and we've found along the way.
That was take my pills.
700 West Strand Street, I've heard from Myra, I just haven't had time to go through what she sent me back. So before we meet again, hopefully I'll have time to do that.
What were you waiting for from her?
She needed to give me back so we need billable addresses to send thing in for us to get the numbering right, so some of my numbers were just reversed. Because we're only in 1 day with her, so,
So you need like 14 addresses up there.
yeah, there's gonna be 17 meters going in.
17, okay.
So I have to make sure I have 17, and I think I do. But at this time, we're still waiting for Badger is the one holding us up on a transition. If I have to go to the new kind of meter, I can't read it. I need the new equipment to read it.
We're already outdated?
Yeah. Well, no, our current meters aren't. But if I have,
But
I don't have enough meters
can't
to
buy
cover the
those meters
17. No, they stopped.
That means we're outdated, we can't buy the ones
Yeah,
we're using.
they've moved on to the next generation, but it's just the next generation of equipment will read those and the previous ones. It's not, it's just the way that they pick up the signal.
So we're out of the old the meters we've been using.
Right, I've been running them down because they're dependent on battery life. If I have them sitting there for 10 years and they're only good for 20, then that's a waste.
So you don't think you even have 17 to go do this?
I probably have the 17 to finish that out, and that's not what's holding me up, it's me going through her documentation and sitting with Kerry, because we have to set up 17 accounts.
No, those were on it, we're working on
It's not sitting to the wayside, and hopefully we'll get it done before the next billing season, or we can align it so that after that, then they'll be in a new system.
it. Okay.
You got anything else? Tom? Okay, you have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.